Hi, my name is Sierra, and I'm a student here at University of Wisconsin River Falls. If you're like me, an essential part of your morning is a cup of coffee. It's very likely that you also add milk or cream to it. But here's another question. Have you ever thought, how much water does it take to make my cup of coffee? If you answered 8 ounces or 12, unfortunately, you're wrong. If this was an 8-ounce cup of coffee with half a cup of milk, it would take 60 gallons of water to produce that. Confused? That's considering the water footprint of the beans and the milk in your coffee. And you might be wondering, so what? What does this have to do with me? A lot, actually. Your diet is a personal choice that affects all of us. It affects how much water you use, how much greenhouse gas you're producing, and how much land is being used to produce your food. Animal products consume a vast amount of resources compared to other food groups, and today I'll be talking to you about why you should consume less animal products for the health of our environment. I want you to imagine a map of the United States. If you cut that map in half, this half is dedicated to agriculture, this half to everything else we do in this country. 41% of land is dedicated to grazing for cattle or for growing crops. Out of 400 million acres in the US that are dedicated to growing food, only 77 million of those acres go to growing food for humans. The rest is for cattle. These facts come from Bloomberg.com. Now you must consider the land consequences that comes with all this land use. You have to consider the habitat destruction, the soil erosion, the pollution. The beef and dairy industry have a particularly bad reputation for land use. You've probably seen in the news recently that the Amazon rainforest is kind of on fire. These fires are intentional, according to NatGeo.com. It's thousands of small-scale ranchers in the area just desperately trying to keep up with the beef industry by cutting and burning the forests to produce more land for their cattle. Can we really chastise these farmers for trying to produce a living and trying to feed their families, all for an industry that we are fueling by our consumption of products? In order to preserve habitat, we need to reduce our animal product consumption. So beyond land degradation, what about water? One cow will drink 40 gallons of water in a single day. It'll drink even more if it's producing milk. And so the Water Education Foundation came up with a couple of statistics to help put this in perspective. 8 ounces of chicken takes 330 gallons of water. To produce an 8-ounce steak, it takes over 1,200 gallons of water. Comparatively, a cup of tofu only takes 61 gallons. And so why so much water? You have to consider the feed, the drinking, the carcass production, and the processing. And so most of this water actually just goes right into the feed. This fact comes from ScienceDirect.com. Now at our current rate of use, 2/3 of the globe will be in a water shortage by 2025. And so ag uses the most water, actually, according to worldwildlifefund.org. And so in order to make a change and prevent water shortages from becoming a bigger issue, we must consider reducing our animal product consumption. And so if reducing our animal product consumption will help benefit our land use and our water, what about our atmosphere? You've probably heard the terms carbon dioxide or methane. These are greenhouse gases, and greenhouse gases exist in our atmosphere and they trap and radiate heat. And so the ag industry has been greatly contributing to the increase of these concentration of these gases, which in turn is increasing global warming and contributing to climate change. Cattle and goats have ruminant digestive systems, and so they just naturally produce methane when they digest food. Methane is also considered 20 times more potent than carbon dioxide at trapping heat. And so 1 kilogram of beef will produce 100 kilograms of greenhouse gas. A kilogram of egg will produce around 5 kilograms of greenhouse gas, while beans and tofu per kilogram produced only produce around 2 or 3 kilograms of greenhouse gas. These stats come from ourworldindata.com. And so just to summarize, to include less animal products in our diet would produce less greenhouse gas, and that would further benefit our atmosphere and help counteract climate change. And so I'd just like to clarify, my point of this speech is not to say, oh, you're a bad person, or oh, you hate the environment because you like eating meat. No. The point of this speech is just to inform you that making conscious decisions and consuming these products in moderation would be a great step forward in benefiting our environment. The production of animal products consumes a vast amount of resources, and so to conclude, reducing our consumption of these products would help benefit our water use, our land use, and our atmosphere. And so next time you're enjoying your next morning cup of coffee, maybe skip the milk or opt for oat milk instead. Collectively, this is how we can use small steps to make big changes in helping our environment. My name is Sierra, and thank you for listening to my speech.